Now, I talked about how travel can be the biggest impact. And travel and meetings, we're going to talk about collectively here, because the best way to avoid meeting impacts is to have it virtually. So if you can address travel and incorporate sustainability in your travel policies, you're going to have a major impact. So again, as you're traveling, and helping people determine how they get around, finding fuel efficient or alternative transport options. If you're in a city, sometimes mass transit is the most cost-effective and efficient way of doing that. But if you're going out to an office park 50 miles from the nearest airport, you're probably going to need to rent a car. So what are the fuel-efficient options, or what are the rental car companies that provide hybrids or most fuel-efficient vehicles? Dining. Where are you eating? Are you buying your meals from a chain, or are you going to buy something that's from a local restaurant or a more sustainable restaurant? Your flights are your biggest impact when you're traveling. Flying direct has a lot lower of an impact than connecting flights, because most of the emissions are generated on takeoff and on landing as opposed to on cruise. So finding direct, or if you've got a bunch of trips, rather than flying to the home office and back, can you bunch a bunch of trips together? With your lodging, where are you staying? I've talked about staying close to where your meetings are, but you're maybe looking at what are the green hotel options that are out there. Who are the hotels that meet these environmental criteria, that live up to the standards, that match our values, not just the cheapest chain that you can find. And lastly, and most importantly, do you need to travel at all? Virtual meetings, it's so commonplace right now with technology. Everybody has Skype, everyone has FaceTime on their phone. You have to develop decision criteria for what meetings do people need to be there in person. We had a client that, because of the company culture was such a face-to-face culture, people were flying from Seattle to Chicago for 2-hour meetings because they didn't want to be left out. And you think about the impact and the cost of that flight, the lodging, the rental car, and coming to there, but also all their lost time spent in the air and in airport and in transit. It's really, really expensive. So if you want to make a sustainable procurement policy and you want to bring in travel and meetings, the first place to start is to say, what meetings do we actually need to be at in person? What ones can we replace this with virtual technology? I can't tell you how many clients we've approached that actually have video conferencing set up, but then some of the people don't trust the technology, or they've tried it and it didn't work, so okay, next time I'm just going to jump on a plane because it's too important, I need to be there. Well, it's just like anything else. If something doesn't work, you got to find a way to fix it. Usually it's just finding that person, the office manager, who can set up those guidelines and troubleshooting techniques to make sure that your virtual meeting is going to go off just as well as anyone. I'm somebody who teaches graduate classes virtually all over the country. Yes, it would be a lot less of an impact, in my own brain of saying, gosh, if I just fly there, I know I can just give the lecture and it won't be a problem. But think of all the time that's wasted, the cost, the opportunity cost that would be out of my consulting business, as well as the fact that the wearing and tearing on my own body. By just doing it virtually, by using WebEx or GoToMeeting or Skype, whatever it is, I'm able to provide that same experience as long as the technology works. So if you have a culture where people are uncertain about it, just train them and then train them again. Make sure they can use it. Just like we've all been trained to use different elements of technology throughout the course of our business career.